So I watched Attack on Titan season 3, and it is another great season of this show. I have one or two problems that I will get to at the end, but I kind of want to just praise this season because it's one of my favorite seasons, and it's actually where I stopped watching the show because the fourth season actually wasn't out yet. So this season has to do does a lot basically. It does a lot of explanation and advances the plot a whole bunch, but I kind of want to skip over the first like half of the season because it doesn't really resonate with me and I don't remember much of it. We ended up finishing the show about like or this season specifically 2 weeks ago, and I just haven't been made the review yet for some reason. So I just want to kind of glance over the beginning parts. I just want to say this is gonna be completely spoilers, by the way. I'm not doing a spoiler-free anything like that. I figured the show's been out long enough, and a lot of people who really like Attack on Titan are most likely finished the show. So they're, this most likely won't be spoilers for many people, but just a warning. Anyway, let's get started. So the season starts with the Capital and the Kenny the Ripper group being introduced, and I really like that. I think one of the best action sequences in Attack on Titan's entirety is Levi swinging through the Capitol trying to run from Kenny and his crew. It's so great. The angles and him swinging around and not having anything to fight back and avoiding everybody is so good. It's so much fun. I really like this. And yeah, I really like Kenny as a character and as a kind of villain to Levi, even though he isn't necessarily a villain entirely. He does do like Kenny does some bad stuff, but he actually kind of helps out in the end when it comes to Historia and Aaron and stuff like that. But yeah, it basically leads to Historia's father becoming a Titan and becoming a giant, huge Titan, as a matter of fact, and they end up having to defeat him. I think that that's really good. It explains a lot about the royal bloodline, and as interesting as that is, for me personally, the most interesting stuff this season is when they're reclaiming the wall, and it's Erwin and Levi and Hanji and our main cast fighting against Rhina, Zeke the Beast Titan, Bertold, and the Cart Titan. I really enjoy a lot of that. So that's mainly what I want to talk about. I kind of want to talk about just characters, because again, as the plot unfolds and as the fights go on, it's very good. It's very well done. But yeah, so we're gonna start. I want to start with Armin because I think that I like the way that uh Aaron, Mikasa, and Armin are kind of set up. Armin and Mikasa feel like new age Erwin and Levi. And I don't know if that's necessarily the point or if they're supposed to be like that, but I have not finished Attack on Titan, and for the most part I have gotten no spoilers for season 4. So when I say this, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if Levi lives to the end of this show. I really don't. So if he does not, Mikasa being an Ackerman, also her being one of the best fighters when it comes to fighting Titans or people in general, they feel very similar in that aspect. A very strong, kind of brooding, silent-ish type, not that they're completely silent or anything like that, but, and then Armin feels like the new commander of the scouts. He feels like Erwin when it comes to his battle strategy and his battle planning and his figuring out of ways to solve problems. Specifically, him finding out that Rhina and Bertold could be hiding in the walls. Such a good scene where they're all clacking on the walls and one person gets stabbed, and then Levi comes flying out of nowhere to stab Rhina, and he still ends up transforming. But yeah, my favorite part of this season, and it always will be, and it's the reason why, and I'm just going to tell you now and spoil it now. The reason that Erwin is getting the best character award is because his death is so impactful to the story, man. And I love the monologue that he gives. It's one of the most like well-known monologues in anime history. My soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the it's so good. It's so good. It gives me full chills every time I see it. And I love Erwin as a character. There's also a really, really cool moment in this season where when Rhina climbs the walls and Erwin is on top, and I'm sorry, Erwin just gives him the meanest side eye. He just looks over his shoulder at Rhina and just gives him the meanest death stare, and it's so awesome. Basically, Eren transforms and basically forces Rhina to make a decision. He has to either get Eren or he has to destroy all of Erwin's fleet and people and horses, and he ends up choosing to fight Eren. And yeah, this season is really good. There's a lot of good character stuff in here. I want to just say that like Jean, Connie, Sasha, these characters, like, they didn't need to be as important as they are, but I love seeing them on screen, and I really like their inclusion all the time of being like very helpful people that aren't the main three or the commanders such as Levi, Hanji, or Erwin. Levi versus the Beast Titan, of course, is another fantastic, well-known scene that is just shows you the absolute monster that Levi is when it comes to killing Titans, and it is so good. This season is very good, and as a matter of fact, I didn't know what was in the basement. When season 3 was coming out, I must have been watching it weekly, because I remember when they had Bertold, they had Mikasa and Eren basically fought against Levi for who to bring back between Armin and Erwin. And I remember them getting into that big fight, that big scuffle, but I don't ever remember them getting into the basement. So when they finally got into the basement, we get all those books. That is so good. But here's my problem, and this review is going to kind of be short because I really like this season. I really like the action. I like the Colossal Titan being like a straight up nuke, and I like Armin getting the Colossal Titan. I think the reason that they chose Armin was really good, and I think that Erwin's sacrifice is amazing. But here are my problems with this show, and it is not necessarily a bad thing. It's more of it's it's not exactly what I expected from Attack on Titan, which doesn't make it a problem, but it kind of loses me when it comes to the allure of the show. Okay. So, in season 3, we get Grisha's backstory and we get an explanation of where he's from and why he is doing the things that he did, and Eren's dad, why all of this show is basically set in motion. We get almost all of the reasoning for why Grisha showed up and had a kid and did all the stuff with the Titan powers and all that stuff. Okay. So it is explained that basically all of the people that are inside the walls are Eldian people. It is a race of people that coexisted, or they are descendants of Ymir, and she basically has these cool Titan powers, and she is a descendant, or I mean, I'm sorry, they are descendants of her, and they have the ability to turn into Titans because they are descendants of her, right? Well, it turns out that the Eldians basically went through a genocide from the Marleyan people. They got into a huge war called the Titan Wars or whatever, where the Marleyan people, the basically oppressors of the Eldian people, managed to have some Eldians on their side and use the Titans to fight each other and were able to take Titans. It turns out that the royal family or the king of the Eldians moved to the island to escape and get away from the Marleyan genocide, and basically said, "Hey, if you guys come over here, if you Marleyans come over here, we are going to attack you with the wrath of all the Titans because I'm the founding Titan." Right? I like this reveal. Okay, I like it. I like the mystery of Attack on Titan being solved. Here's my problem. The mystery and allure of the first 2 seasons is unmatched. I'm going to compare this to Stranger Things as a way to explain why I like the first 2 seasons, and even though I really like this 3rd season because it has some of the best character stuff and it has some of the best action out of Attack on Titan in season 3 for sure, but it explains a lot more of the mystery than we had before, and I'm going to use Stranger Things as a way to explain it. I, for the most part, am a pretty big fan of Stranger Things. The last season wasn't my favorite, but I'm not even going to really get into that. But specifically, as the show goes on in Stranger Things, you have season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, and season 5. As the show progresses, we get more and more questions answered about the world and how the Upside Down works and the actual villains and the things that are going on, the people that we're fighting against, all that stuff, right? That all has to do with the show progressing. But undoubtedly, in my opinion, the best season of Stranger Things is the first season. The horror, mystery, thriller aspect of season 1 of Stranger Things is absolutely the best part of it because we don't have the answers. So trying to kind of theory craft as in your brain, even if you're not out loud, even if you're not talking about it online with people, you know what I mean? When you're sitting down and watching it and the show poses you a question or ends on a cliffhanger, all of the things you want to answer, or I mean all of the things you want answered, you can kind of think of like, okay, maybe this character has to do with this or this or this or this. It's more fun that way. And so the first 2 seasons of Attack on Titan, when you really genuinely believe that this is the last of humanity, there is no more humans on this planet, wherever, if it's Earth, if it's not, whatever. I think it's explained that it is Earth, but like, even when you are watching it, you're like, oh my God, people are turning into Titans. That revelation is like huge. You know what I mean? So in the end of season 3, when you find out that humans exist, the human race is very aplenty. There it is not. Yes, the Eldians, Eren Yeager, Mikasa, Armin, their race of people is dwindling, and it is being genocided or being hunted down, right? It does make you feel bad for the main characters. But if all of the Eldians get wiped out, right? And I'm not saying that I want this to happen, but if all of the Eldians in the entire show get wiped out, humanity doesn't go away. It doesn't cease to exist. And I don't necessarily love that. I really liked back in the first 2 seasons when it was, we have to find a way to kill all the Titans or we are going to die. I really like that. I like that mystery. Who is turning people into Titans? How are they getting here? And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. This is kind of a sneak peek into my thoughts on season 4 because we've watched 3 episodes of season 4. So spoilers for season 4, the first 3 episodes of season 4, but we see the other side. We see Rhina, Zeke, all of these characters that we have been fighting against other people, other humans, basically. And as I like this, I like the seeing Titans used in war, but also seeing a army or a group of people that is actually equipped to fight the Titans. Like whoever the Marlians are fighting. I don't think it's specifically stated because you have the Eldians on the island. Eren, Armin, Mikasa are characters, right? They're Eldian. You have Marlians who are not Eldian. They cannot turn into Titans, but they are using Eldians as war soldiers, basically. That's what they're actively doing, right? And they're fighting against, I'm just going to say the rest of the world. I'm going to assume that the Marlians are the bad people because of what they did to Eldians. The fact that they make Eldians wear armbands, the fact that they make the Eldians fight for them to the death and whatever, and make the Eldians feel like they're devils even though they, whatever, right? So I'm assuming that the Marlians are the bad people. So I like seeing this war aspect, seeing the Marlians fight. It explains why Rhina and Bertold and Annie are doing the things that they're doing, because they're basically brainwashed by the Marlian people into thinking that they are bad people and they have to do this for Marley and whatever. I like that as an aspect, but when I look at season 1 and season 3 and the opening of season 4, this doesn't feel like Attack on Titan to me. The mystery aspect of Attack on Titan, like I've been saying, is the most beautiful thing, trying to figure out this world, and when it gets answered, it's not that it's not satisfying, because actually seeing that Rhina is doing all this, and especially I think in season 4, obviously I have to finish it, but in the start of season 4, Rhina is my favorite character. It absolutely explains why Rhina is having the multiple personality disorder between him losing his best friend and trying to become this guy that leads them and being this man that leads the other group, but also him slipping into thinking that he's an Eldian soldier from the island. And I really like that stuff. But it just doesn't exactly feel like it doesn't feel like Attack on Titan's mystery to me. Like, again, I'm not saying that I want the explanation to be something different. I don't want it to be, oh, Titans fall from the sky and they're just sent by God to wipe out humanity. I don't want something like that. I am happy with the explanation that we're getting, but it now that it is being explained, my voice just cracked. Jesus Christ. Anyway, now that the Titan powers and things are being explained when it comes to the worldview, when it comes to the genocide of the Eldian people, I enjoy it, but I also feel like it's not what I expected the mystery to be, and it also feels like this is a severe case of perspective or point of view where, yes, we are on Aaron's side, and the Eldians absolutely are not necessarily the bad guys because the Marleyans are the bad people doing this stuff to the Eldian people. But if the Marleyans succeeded and okay, technically, if they succeeded and got the founding Titan power, they would be unstoppable. But say, for example, they did not get the founding Titan power, but Eren died and all of the Eldians on the island died, the rest of the world could still wipe out the Marleyans and the villains would be eradicated. So, like, it feels like we want Eren and the rest of the Eldians on the island to win because they're the main characters. Of course, that's how storytelling works. I'm not an idiot. I get it. You know, The Walking Dead, of course, Negan is a villain, but if you saw the show through Negan's eyes, he'd probably be the good guy and Rick's group would be the bad guy. I understand that perspective is a huge part of storytelling, but it just feels like it the first and second season felt so desperate to like when Erwin makes the decision where we have to sacrifice people in order to figure out what this world is. They really don't. They could stay in the island or stay in the walls and send like a couple like Eren out with his power and get it just feels very like it just feels very I don't know. It is satisfying. I like seeing the war aspect. The Marleyans are in war with the rest of the world. The Eldians are fighting back. Oh, okay. The island Eldians are fighting back against the Marleyans. And I like all of that, but it's not the mystery and allure of the first two seasons were so captivating, and now that it's getting explained, that mystery that had me so interested is gone, and I'm still interested to see how it plays out, but it's more of a I'm this far, I'm gonna kind of finish it. Not that it's bad. I'm not saying that this is bad. Again, I want to reiterate that I don't think Attack on Titan season 3 is bad, and I don't think that the mystery explanation of Ymir, the royal family, the Marleyans, what they're doing to the Eldians, the armbands, and basically making them like prisoners of war, kind of, or making them fight for Marley. I like that stuff. I like that aspect. I like okay, this is crazy, but like I like war movies. I like war films and anime. I like stuff like that. But it now that the mystery is explained, it doesn't feel like as engaging, like I can't wait to find out anymore. And that's not necessarily a bad thing for Attack on Titan because again, it's still great. It has some of the best action. It's also very heavy-handed. I made a joke to Ariel that for season 4, again, this is a little bit of spoiler stuff for season 4. Mikasa had Reiner with such PTSD that this dude would rather kill himself than go back to that goddamn island. If it wasn't for the little Eldian kids or the little Marleyan Eldian kids that were there, he would have definitely done it. And it's just so crazy that this dude would rather fight in a war against people who actually have anti-tank or anti-Titan weapons. They have tanks and trains that shoot bullets that actively can pierce his armor and kill him. He would rather fight that than go back to the island and fight Mikasa, who has fucking glass swords, basically the swords that are this thin. He would rather fight those people than go back and have to see Mikasa again. That's so funny. But anyway, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on Attack on Titan season 3 specifically. We are at the we are around the corner. We are at the end. I can't wait to see how this show ends, because some people again have said that this show is the best piece of media ever made, and I don't necessarily agree so far. I think it's an incredible anime that is really good. I don't think it's a starter anime. I just want to put this in there because I've been thinking about, if you were an anime fan and you are in a relationship with somebody, or whatever the case may be, and you want to show anime to them, don't start with Attack on Titan. It's a great show, but they have to kind of be into anime a little bit first. So I feel like Demon Slayer, My Hero, I feel like there's a couple new gen animes that are a lot easier to get somebody into anime, and I don't think Attack on Titan is one of them. I think that if they're into anime, though, they'll love this show. But anyway, that's all the time I have for today. Let me know your thoughts on season 3 specifically, or just anything that I said, but try not to spoil it, please, because I genuinely have no idea how this show ends, and I'm really excited to finish it. So, with that being said, have a good day.